Hello and good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to David Boles Live. I think I'm alive. Check. So far, so good, I think. Our delightful Jana Marie is not feeling well today. She's in the other room, recovering from our intermittent fasting that we just started. I'll tell you more about that in a moment. But I said, well, you're here today. You're not sick. You're not really feeling up to working today, but you could be a guest on the live stream, do a little thing. And I got that look. I don't want to call it the mommy look, but we call it the being married 33 years look. You can come for 5 minutes, say hello, do a little...
I know you understand me.
The eye twitch. I don't think Jana Marie will be joining us today, but she will be joining us in spirit, which I'll show you in a moment. But as I was getting ready to turn everything on for our live stream, a fight broke out in the live stream. And the fight was not between me, Jana Marie, or any other living human being. It was a bot fight. And so I was busy grabbing a screenshot before we went live so I can show it to you. I'm going to show it to you right now. This is what was going on in our live stream. Now, as you know, in our live stream, we have chat that's supposed to be filled with people chatting with each other, asking me questions. I respond back. We have a lovely dialogue. Well, we're brand new. We've been here fewer than 3 weeks. 2 weeks and 2 days we've been live streaming. So eventually, I think we'll get there where we have a nice conversation for a couple of hours and we talk about things and writing and other interesting goings-on in the world. But for now, to keep the chat alive so I can get used to it and reading it, we have bots. One of our bots is Streamlabs. Slobs. Streamlabs OBS, we've talked about that before, is the software we use to stream to you live from our Mac. And Streamlabs offers a suite of functions that include a moderator bot. And one of our very first streams, we had a new follower who logged in and said, your moderator bot is too restrictive. Turn it down. I want to talk to you, but it won't let me post more than one sentence. I want to post a paragraph. So I fixed that. She has not come back. And as you know, we also talk about music, our live stream music. We have Monster Cat streaming that we use. We pay licensing fees so we can have music here on Twitch, here on YouTube, but not on Facebook. So we can't live stream to Facebook because we'll get a DMCA violation for using non-licensed music. The other streaming service we use is Pretzel Rocks, which is what you're hearing right now. They have a slightly larger catalog, a little bit easier to stream. And they also have their own bot that I can turn on. And you see it popping up every once in a while. Hey, Pretzel Rocks, this is the song that's playing right now. Because sometimes people listen, they say, oh, that's a nice song. What is that? So the bot tells you. And I have even set up things that fire from the Streamlabs bot, like typing exclamation and quote. And here's a quote that I assembled, and so when people visiting chat want to get a quote, they type in an exclamation mark, QUOTE, and this is what they get. The disabled are differently abled. Ooh, that's from Jana Marie. She's not feeling well, but she's here with us in a quote and in a tumbler full of water. So as part of Streamlabs OBS, you can also set up your own moderator. You create a second Twitch account, which I did, and then you add that to Streamlabs. So Streamlabs becomes a secondary moderator, and your moderator bot takes over the lead position. And sometimes in chat you'll see that. That comes from Boles brand. I'll type something right now in the Boles brand account just to say a little bit hello so you can see how this works. Okay, so there you go. Hello from Boles brand. So that's my personal bot that is connected to the Streamlabs bot. Okay? We're figuring this out all along the way as we go. All right, so we have bots talking to bots. Now, this is where it gets interesting and very funny because we have a strict timeout that if someone speaks too often or someone wants to, let's, exclamation point, title, it'll pop up the title of this lovely stream. Coming from Boles brand, coming via the co-joined moderator bot from Streamlabs and from Boles brand. So here's the fight that broke out right here earlier today, right before I was going to go live. I stopped and took a screenshot of it. It's a bot fight between Streamlabs and Pretzel Rocks. Boles brand was not involved, and Boles brand was active because I always test it before we go live. So Streamlabs, for some reason, stomped on Boles brand and became the main moderator bot. I don't know why. I don't understand these things. So the Streamlabs bot tells the Pretzel Rocks bot, and remember, these are bots. These are not people. This is all AI. 11 messages were deleted by a moderator. Streamlabs bot, not me. Streamlabs timed out Pretzel Rocks for 1 second. And the Streamlabs bot said to the Pretzel Rocks bot, please refrain from posting links. Now, I didn't know the Pretzel Rock bot could even post a link. Now, you can post links in chat if you are a VIP or you have verified your identity. But as far as I know, the Pretzel Rocks bot only types text saying this is the song that's coming up. Just like you're seeing right now. Oh! And we're getting it again. Oh, this is so interesting. More fighting. Now playing What Will You Do by Less People. Pretzel Rocks. Boles brand now. Pretzel Rocks, please refrain from posting links. Now, there's no link in that. I don't know what's going on. This whole stream might be offline before we even get to hour 1. So this will be interesting in chat. We have action going in chat now, where we have bot wars. I have done nothing. I have changed nothing. I don't know if they're auto-prescient on their own, if they're getting their own mind. I have no idea what's going on, really. I'm frankly frightened, slightly frightened and scared that I will be moderated by my own bot saying, please be quiet and stop talking and go off stream. Now, what would happen if I posted a link? What would that do? Let's post a link to Hardcore ASL. In the spirit of Jean Marie. Hardcore ASL for private American Sign Language lessons. Okay, now let me see if I get moderated. Ooh. Okay, for private lessons, okay. So in chat, it looks like it's a good link. Live on stream, it's not a link because we can't click on it. So I did not get moderated by my own bot. And as you can see, the Boles brand bot has now taken over from the Streamlabs bot. As I understand it, the Boles brand bot is always supposed to step over the Streamlabs bot, but it doesn't always happen. I don't know why. So the bot wars are going to be fun to watch today. So Jana Marie is here. We both exercise, work out, we eat right, we're vegan, all those things. And I do most of that to keep my heart in shape, to keep my blood pressure in control, to keep my A1C, which I don't know a lot about, and I never really want to know a lot about it. We're on the upper edge of A1C. For many, many years, we've been on the upper edge. Now, some people call that pre-diabetes. Well, for years and years and years, I've also been pre-glaucoma in the eye thing. I have very high pressure in my eyes, but I have very thick corneas, so it always throws the new eye doctor for a loop. Wait a minute, what's wrong with him? He has such high pressure. And then they evaluate my cornea with some kind of instrument. Oh, it's fine, he has thick corneas. Now, what is the difference between being pre-diabetic and pre-glaucomic? I think it's the same difference between being pre-pregnant. I guess if the possibility is available, then the pre is acceptable. I'm pre-dead, but not quite post-living. So when you exercise and you're trying to build muscle and get rid of fat, and I will one day show you my elaborate setup I have in the living room. It's the pandemic gym that has taken over the apartment. Don't talk about it with Jan Marie. She'll give you that look. She's not happy, but she is in shape. And sometimes you build muscle and you put on weight and then you cut. And we are now getting into our cutting mode. So we are reestablishing our relationship with intermittent fasting. And it can knock you out if you're not prepared for it. And when we start, it always kind of throws Jana for a little bit of a loop. Here's a more lovely image of Jana Marie that I will share with you. This is my favorite photograph of her. Taken in 2018, in the middle of a blizzard. And yes, she was going to work because she loves the snow. Right outside the PATH station in Jersey City. And her expression just makes me laugh. It's so funny. She's so cold, completely frozen, but not frozen enough not to take the photograph. And I have added her on a tumbler and on a shirt in our merch store, just to be slightly crass and say visit bolesbooks.org/merch for a little look at Jana Marie. So here we are, intermittent fasting. Now, we used to do our intermittent fasting, usually for 16 hours at a time, and then you have an eating window, which is the rest of the day. 6 hours, 8 hours, depending how long you decide to fast. And what we would do is we would stop eating at noon. And then the next morning, we'd wake up, 5, 6 o'clock, and eat our 2,000 calories and stop at noon and start all over. And that can be fine if you have time in the morning to do a lot of eating. However, we have recently learned through the wonder of a new app that if you're serious about fasting, it's easier, and my doctor always told me this too, and I never really thought about it. When you fast, you're going to do blood tests the next day, check your A1C and all of that. You start your fast at night. So you're getting all your fasting credit overnight while you're sleeping, and your body is getting rid of all the bad stuff. So we decided, okay, this round of intermittent fasting, we will start our fasting at night. And the idea is you have your last healthy, light meal 2 hours before you're going to start, before you go to bed. And we go to bed kind of early, 9:30, 10, just because we get up very early, 4 or 5 in the morning. So that means about 7 o'clock p.m. is our cutoff time. And we usually have a little meal of fruit. And this app that is founded by Dr. Peter Attia is called Zero. And it makes it really mindless when you want to fast. So I set it up and said we're doing this one is an 18-6 fast. Started last night at 7 p.m. And while you're fasting, it times it out for you. It tells you when you're done, tells you what stage you're in, if you're ketogenic, if you're just burning calories, if your body is repairing itself. It makes it very simple. And you can change your mind in the middle of a fast. This little link right up here. You click on that, and that allows you to modify your fast. And your options are, it's a little hard to read. Our options are a 13-hour fast, which is, if you're new to fasting, that's a good place to start. Then there's a 16-hour fast, an 18-hour fast, a 20-hour fast, a 36-hour fast, or you can have a custom fast. This weekend we're going to do a 3-day fast. So that's a 72-hour fast, so that's a custom fast. And you can also do 1 meal a day. And some people have 1 meal a day windows of 2 hours, 1 hour. All excellent ways to lose weight. And there's a friend I know who got this Zero app, started using it in September, doing intermittent fasting every day and a longer fast on the weekends. And she said in 30 days she lost 41 pounds. Now you're getting your full caloric intake. You're fasting, but you're not eating. You're just fasting during a certain period of time, and then you're eating all the right things, and then you stop eating. Many Americans graze all day. We eat a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We have a snack. We have 3 meals. Then we have a shake. We get something from Starbucks. All that has calories that has to be processed by your body. So I recommend this Zero app. So far, it's been great. 1 p.m. is our countdown to eating. Again, and I do predict that Jana Marie at 12:59 p.m. will suddenly be feeling a lot better as she gets out of bed and begins her feeding window. She is a monster, after all. And if you need evidence of that, right there, the screaming Jana Marie. Now, what I like about this Zero app also is on my Apple Watch. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to show you this. It also shows what I'm doing. There you go. I can't twist my arm any more than that. But you can see it tells me how long I've been fasting. So right now we're fasting 14 hours and 19 minutes. And I feel great. Not hungry at all. Now, can you have coffee, tea? You can if you want to. Some people say you should not fast and have caffeine. Other people say a little bit of caffeine and some green tea or a little bit of coffee is fine. However, don't add sugar. Don't add soy milk or anything else, or honey or anything else. Just have flat black coffee, meaning adding nothing. Flat black. Tea, any kind of tea. Don't add anything to it or you're going to be in trouble. Well, our bots seem to be getting along now. Pretzel Rocks has now posted the last 4 songs in our stream and has not been shut down or banned by our other bot. But the stream is still young. We might have more fun coming our way. So as you know, we live in the urban core. I find it fascinating. I'm originally from the Midwest, which is rather rural. Not a lot of tall buildings. In Lincoln, Nebraska, there are no real accesses to big bodies of water like oceans. I believe Nebraska is the most landlocked state in the entire America. And that's why most people who leave the Midwest go west. California, sun, water. A few of us go old, we go east to oldness and infrastructure. Well, with that age comes an interesting phenomenon of the old city versus the new city. And my very first blog, one of my first blogs, was called Urban Semiotic, focusing on urban life and the images that go along with it. That changed into bolesblogs.com. So I'm going to show you very briefly an article that I wrote concerning these very strange red squares that I would see on houses and structures when I go for my daily power walk. And I usually always went the same way, so when these things started popping up, it was like, what is going on? And the most interesting thing about doing a live stream is I can actually show you images, video, where I can't in just a text blog article. So here are some of the images that I would see. Riverview Park in Jersey City, same kind of view. Now here's the first one. This was a house close to the park, and there's that red square. I didn't know what it meant at the time. And the red square, I came to learn, is put there by the fire department. And they visit vacant houses, vacant structures. They put that on the sign with code numbers and phrases and letters that mean something to them. The house is condemned. No one's in the house. And this house, actually on Ogden Street, I believe, in Jersey City, just sold for, I believe, $2.1 million, if I'm correct, to the mayor of Jersey City. And the mayor of Jersey City doesn't have that kind of money. And he's very honest about it. He said, I don't have any money, but my wife does. She's a physician in Jersey City, so she makes all the money and he gets the nice house. But this house was renovated by a player, I believe, from the New York Giants. Renovated it. It's gorgeous inside. Oh. Outside, still this kind of strange orange brick color. A little ugly. But maybe that's okay for being on that nice street and you just see an ugly orange brick house and then you go inside and it's like Disneyland. So the mayor lives there now, or will soon live there, but in what year was this? 2013, nobody was living there, and it was sort of shown to be, I don't know if it's condemned by the fire department. Here's another one, easier to see. Same street, a little further down. 366 FEFO. Is there an elevator? Are there stairs? Are there people inside? That's the sign. So if there's a fire emergency, the first responders can see that sign, know what it means, no entry, condemned, and know the status, and they don't have to worry about trying to get people out. Here's a closer look at it. Now this is another lovely home. It was about 2 blocks from where our other apartment was in the Heights on Concord Street. And there's the red square. And somebody bought that house, fixed it up, and sold it. And it's absolutely beautiful. So these things that are condemned can have second lives. Same house. But the little images of the Madonna on the door. Fire department respected it and put it above. And the year, 2013, when it was inspected, who was inspected by? 42. Here's another one. I don't know if this is an apartment or a store. I'm a little confused by it. But see, this one has 1 slash. Some have an X. Some have nothing, just a red square. Here's another one with a slash. Here's an old factory with a big square, a big cross out. Sometimes the signs fall down, or people take the sign down because they don't want it up there. This one had a little bit of dog poop on there that somebody either tried to wipe off or they threw it on the sign. Another house that was torn down for a parking lot. This I thought was interesting because it was not hammered onto the front door. It was just kind of interspersed in the slats of the railing. Here's a closer look. Do not remove, Jersey City Fire Department, 2013. So that was interesting. The Red Square Brigade, and trying to figure out what was going on. And then on a similar day, I took another walk in our neighborhood and found the most amazing thing. And I wish I really had video on this, but I didn't think to do video. This again was in 2013, the same day, I believe, and you'll see that. And they were repaving the asphalt streets. And they're doing it very quickly because this is a major thoroughfare. There's just Baldwin Avenue right here. And what they do is they rip off the old asphalt and then they put down new asphalt. But what happens when they rip out the old asphalt is you can see the original street. What it used to be 100 years ago. Cobblestones. And I'm thinking, why in the world would you cover up these beautiful stones with ugly asphalt? As O.J. Simpson might say, ugly ass asphalt. And now there are intersections in Jersey City where they have a veneer of brick that they use like for crosswalks to make it look pretty. I'm thinking, a veneer of brick that doesn't last, it cracks very fast. Is this progress? I don't know. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Here's a closer look at the cobblestones of Jersey City. Revealed for the first time probably in 30 years, 50 years. Going back 100 years. Oh, I would much rather have that in my city than blacktop. And this is them putting down the blacktop. 3 to 4 inches at a time, covering up the history of the city to give people a nice, smooth path to drive on. And we now know cities are not for people or for walking or for bicycling. They're for cars. Now this also shows that they put down some kind of tar after they rip up the asphalt. And I thought it was dry because I was in the middle of this, as you can see, taking photographs. And there are workers around looking at me like, what are you doing? Get out of the middle of the street. We know you like cobblestones, but we have asphalt to put down. And this is what happened. My brand new shoes. Covered in tar. And when I realized that I was stepping on live tar that was very sticky, and my shoes stuck to the ground, and my shoes picked up everything on the ground, the workers just looked at me and smiled. And I think they laughed a little bit. So, lesson learned. So we have red squares, and we have cobblestones. And then we also have an interesting feature where you can, I think it's Apple, takes images from your past, puts them together as a memory seal thing. So I'm going to turn off Pretzel Rocks for now. And I'm going to go see if I can play this video file for you that is like a compilation of that one day when I was walking with the red squares and the cobblestones. And it takes pictures, but it's not video, but then it makes it into a video. You've seen this before. This isn't anything that new. So here we go. We'll see if this works. This is our second attempt at a video file. that still does that, whatever Apple thing that was, but it was really well done. I thought it was extremely interesting, and we got really close to see the photographs that I took. So it's time again, that time in our day when we take a blood pressure break. I'm going to see you very shortly, and we're going to talk about how to fix your golfer's elbow and your tennis elbow. It's coming up next. Back in a moment.
In a writer, I'm looking for somebody who brings everything to the table. Who brings the heart, who brings their vision, and particularly who bring their brain to the table. So that they're aware of what they're doing and they're making conscious choices. I don't have a lot of patience for people who feel like they're downloading from the cosmos. Just like, that's how it came out. Okay, great. Now let's make it better. But, just writing from a place of understanding rather than from a place of fear, where you're just grateful for any idea that comes along and you don't want to change it because you don't know how. It's not about the ideas, it's about how you support the ideas.
And we are back from our break, feeling much better. I checked on the beautiful Jana Marie. She has not moved. She is in stasis. Breathing and alive, but unmovable. I don't think she's going to be joining the live stream today, although I always render hope and keep her in my heart and my thoughts. But I don't think she's coming. Although she did send us a little note. In case you missed it, during the break, she said, "I'm here, doing great, feeling fine." Which I believe is true. It is an adjustment period. If you're used to grazing and eating a lot to then just kind of not eating anything, it makes me feel better. I can feel my body changing. I can feel being lighter. It's really amazing, especially at night, as you're getting ready to slumber and your stomach just kind of feels empty. And a serenity surrounds you. It feels really great. So, I'm into kettlebells now, and I will show you some technique in another stream. But one of the, I don't want to say dangers, but one of the issues you always have to keep in mind when you're dealing with a heavy kettlebell is joint safety, tendon safety, muscle safety, but especially if you're like me and you are double jointed in your elbows and your knees. Because instead of looking like this, when I straighten my arm to full capacity, it's back like this at the elbow. And the same with the knees. It locks. Most people have it like moves like this that's wrong, but when I lock it locks out like that. And some people say don't lock it out because it can injure you. Other people say it's fine because you're double jointed, your body moves that way, so if you lock it out to lock it out, it's fine to lock it out. I have tried both, to not lock and to lock, and not locking is much more difficult and painful for me than locking. Your mileage may vary. So I have some tools I'm going to show you on how to deal with golfer's elbow and tennis elbow and carpal tunnel. It's all kind of in the same thing. I also have a couple of getting on the mat exercises that I want to show you in another stream because I have to figure out, do I do it live from the living room or do I record it? I'm new to this streaming thing, so I don't know exactly what the answer is. But with this demonstration, I'm doing it right here in this chair with you. So the first thing to do is stretch. And you can do this without having any kind of tool. So let me see how I can do this with my squeaky chair. Merch store logo. bolesbooks.org/merch. Okay, that's done. So the first thing I do every day when I start my exercise routine is a little bit of stretching. And I start with arm over, count for 7. And then I do it the other way, holding my hand like this, pulling like this, pull. Okay. Then hand back, pushing the elbow back. So this to this. Pulling. Pulling. It feels very good. Yes. Other arm. Now, I used to do this until I discovered you don't ever do this because it's terrible for your shoulder. I'm showing you, but I'm not doing it. This, okay? And then you put pressure here and pull this way. Don't do that. It's really, really bad for your shoulder. And then people do it this way, the other arm. Don't do it. It's bad for your shoulder. So once I do this, then I do this, which really stretches out your arm. And I'm very tight in here because I slept wrong the other day and I think I was grabbing onto a pillow And so my arm, when I woke up, was like this. And so I tried to, a lot of pain right there. That's not golfer elbow, tennis elbow. We'll get into that. And then you stretch this arm this way, right? See the double jointedness. And as a child, when I'd sit in class, as a young child, I would, be sitting there holding myself up with my arm on the floor. And people would say, "You broke your arm." Not really. So that is the initial stretch that I use to feel a little bit better. Now we get into the heavy-duty stuff. Okay, tennis elbow is pain in your elbow on the outside of your elbow. Golfer's elbow is pain on the inside of your elbow, here. And when I do my kettlebells wrong, I have golfer's elbow right here. And if you're in the community, you'll see a lot of people saying, "Oh, I have elbow pain." Very common. It's a good way to be careful so you don't hurt yourself. So, but everybody that I've ever seen who has a problem with golfer's elbow, tennis elbow, uses this tool that you will have to purchase, but it's worth every penny. And you don't have to buy them as a group, you can buy them individually. I have 4 of them. It is the Theraband Flex Bar. And I mention this to you not because I'm trying to sell you anything or because these were sent to me for free. None of that. I'm just sharing what I know with you, and this is what it looks like. Theraband Flex Bar. I don't know if that website is still good. It comes in 4 colors, 4 different sizes, because they all have a different weight resistance. Okay. So they're a foot long. This is the red. I think red is the most popular. The tiniest one is yellow. Very thin. Easy to manipulate. Hard to read. Theraband Flex Bar. I believe this one is 5 pounds. The red is 10. The green is 15, I believe. Now look, putting this green up here, it changes the whole color of my face. Isn't that interesting? Streaming is fascinating. If you want a little tan, use the Theraband green. I don't know why. Maybe because my skin is green. It's a little thicker. Okay. And they're rubber. Okay. And the Big Daddy, I believe this is a 20-pounder. Red. Theraband Flex Bar. This is not red, this is blue. My face is red. So weird. Thick. Okay. So I usually use the blue. But for demonstration purposes, I think I'm going to use the green because I will be able to twist it a little bit more. And that's the whole key to the whole thing. Twisting. But first, I begin with the yellow. Does the yellow change my face color? Just a little bit. I've checked the red. Red, not much. Green and blue, my enemies. So there are several ways you can do this. This is going to concentrate on your thumb and your wrist initially. And I do 5 forward presses. 1, 2, 3, hold it just a little bit. 4, I'll do 5. 5, okay. Then you go on the outside of the Theraband and you press 5 this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you really feel it right there in your wrist. Okay, then we go on the inside. Not done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then just because I don't want to say anal, I have to do the other hand just so they match. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on. 5. That can wear you out on your weekend. All right, so the thumb is done. Now the next one I use is this. I do 10. Just down like this. Okay. I'm doing 5. 3, 4, 5. Now you can see this is very twisty. This is the key to the whole thing. But we're not there yet. We're warming up. And just so you can see the difference, so this is a little harder to do. You always want to try to hold it there a little bit. And if you're really tough, you can do this. I do this on your thumb. Anal match. Okay. All right. And here's what the big blue looks like. This is a big challenge. The blue is heavy. Now you can do this the way I'm doing it and do each one of them, or you can just pick a color, any color, and do as you wish. Now, so we went down. Now we're going up. So it's elbows out. Hands don't really move. It's just you're moving your elbows out. And it's a challenge. And you can hold it for as long as you like. It feels good holding it. I'll do this one too. Out. Gone down, we've gone up. Now we start working on the wrist, the elbow. And these are wrist movements, but they really fix your elbow. I don't know why. So the first thing you do is you hold the Theraband in this manner. And we're going to start with the right hand. And you over grip like this. Pull back. Okay. Why am I not in focus? Okay. So, I'm twisting with this hand. All the tension is in this hand. This hand's just holding it. You can see the twist, okay? And I usually do 10, but I'm going to do 5. Because we're going to do both sides. Okay, so it's like a motorcycle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See? Very twisty. And it's the tension. And you feel it right here in your arm. And it helps on the other side. I'm already starting to sweat. Alright, so now we do this side. Alright, so this is regular grip on this hand. This hand over gripping. And twisting. And I usually take my wedding ring off, which is actually my aura ring, but I'm not going to. All right, so 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that exercise, as I understand it, I'm taking this off. We're going to talk about the aura ring in a future live stream. Very interesting. Tracks your heart rate, your breathing rate, your temperature, and your HRV, your heart rate variability. Now, I'm just going to show you the blue because it's so big and challenging, because it's harder to twist. Oh. This is the outside of the elbow we're working, and you don't think it's working, and then the next day you do it, and the next day, and then suddenly you're pain-free. It's really very amazing. And they have these in physical therapy places. All right. So we've taken care of our outer tennis elbow. Now we're going to work on our golfer's elbow. And you do the whole thing because you want your whole arm to be successful and feeling good. So I'm going to take the green one. And this, I always have to think this through because it's very complicated. Because it's overreaching and underreaching and then building tension where you don't think the tension is. All right? So, we have our Theraband. Right hand. Stabilizer. Okay? Maybe. Now, this is where it gets weird and it's very hard to follow, even for me. Which is why I close my eyes because I'm trying to envision happening. You take your hand, and this is for the inside of your elbow. You twist your hand this way. Okay? And you grab, and you twist. And it's all reversed. So this hand that you thought was the stabilizer is not the stabilizer. The twisted overhand hand is the stabilizer. And then you go this way and this way. And it's total tension. And it's very challenging. Now we have to reverse it to the other side. Okay, so this pretends to be a stabilizer, but it's not. It's just holding it in place. As you twist your hand this way to grab and twist, and the stabilizer becomes the one you move. And then hold it there. And let it go. Oy. And I'm going to do a couple with the blue just because I have to. Okay, so here we go. Stabilizer. Reach around. I didn't say that. Do it again. We'll do 3. 1, 2, 3. And we're out of focus. But I think you can get the idea. Now we reach around. This is for our golfer's elbow. 1, 2, 3. That's a workout. You wouldn't think it's a workout, but it's a workout. And here's the family. I bought all 4. You don't have to buy 4. You can just buy one you want. If you want to start with one, start with the red. The red is easiest to find. The yellow is hardest to find. Next hardest to find is the green, then the really hard to find is the blue. So there you go. Theraband Flex Bar. It solves all your trouble with golfer's elbow and tennis elbow. Now I'll show you one more thing that I use just to wrap up this exercise, and that is the fingers and the wrist stretching. This feels really good, especially after all that tension you had your hand in there. This finger pushed back is always the most painful for me. Painful in that it feels good. And then don't forget your thumb. Very important. And then, of course, pull it all back. Flip it around. Other side. Pull back. Pull back. And I'm telling you, follow this routine, 2-3 days, you're going to feel a big difference. Really amazing stuff. Who would know that a flex bar can solve your elbow problems? Because some people just stop. The stopping is not going to help a lot. It can help heal, but then when you go back to your kettlebell workout, your weight workout, playing golf, playing tennis, the problem's going to return. So when you have something like this, it builds strength and suppleness. Theraband Flex Bar. Time for another short break. Back in a flash, we're going to talk a little bit about history and working and writing. Back in just a moment. And we're back from our break. Thank you for being here on David Boles Live. It's a stream. Well, I tell you, I'm a little worn out from that flex bar exercise. But it feels good. My arms are very strong. My forearms feel even more powerful now than they did at the start of the stream. Now we're going to talk a little bit about writing and Robert Frost, and I will share with you my introduction. Writing. With your friend and mine, Ringo Starr. No, it's me. It's not Ringo. It's Mr. David Boles. So Robert Frost is a really interesting sort of writer. And before we get into his interesting set of poems, I did want to share with you a couple of articles I've written about the man. Interesting, Joyce Carol Oates does not appear to like him very much. But he's definitely a talented, incredible poet and writer. Grew up in an interesting life. One of my favorite poems of his is "The Strong Are Saying Nothing." So I've celebrated his work many times in the past. He was the Poet Laureate of the United States. There he is with Kennedy, talking to Jackie O on the right side of your image. Here's my article about the strong are saying nothing. Robert Frost. All right, so that establishes that he has this wonderful, interesting history. I've admired him from afar, and now we're going to admire him up close together as we examine place, time, people, objectivity, character development. I'm hearing something. I don't know what it is, where it's coming from. Is it me or is it Memorex? Where is it coming from? Hello? I don't know. Ooh. Sometimes I get tricked by my music. I think someone's talking to me or I'm talking to myself. Is it me or is it Memorex? I think it's the music. You know, there's one way to find out. Try another song. Ah, I think it was the music making me insane. It sounded like I had feedback in my left ear. I was thinking, is there something going on that I'm not aware of? This is the delight of a live stream, I'm told. Bots fighting. People talking to you without knowing. So Putting in the Seed is a Robert Frost poem that we'll investigate together that has to do with time and place and how to live a terrifying but right life. And authors are big on a return on investment, being the time that they put into a place and the continuity and the dialogue that is created reminds them of work, reminds them of where they grew up, how they came to be, and then they try to share that truth and that reality with you as the reader. Putting in the seed likely has multiple meanings, if you know what I mean. But this one is probably about farming. You come to fetch me from my work tonight, when supper's on the table, And we'll see if I can leave off burying the white, soft petals fallen from the apple tree. Soft petals, yes, but not so barren quite, mingled with these smooth bean and wrinkled pea. And go along with your ere you lose sight of what you came for and become like me. Slave to a springtime passion for the earth. How love bombs through the pudding in the seed. On through the watching for that early birth, when just as the soil tarnishes with weed, the sturdy seedling with arched body becomes, shouldering its way and shedding the earth crumbs. Now that is beginning, middle, and end of a life. Life of a seed, a planting of hope, a finding of prosper. It's really interesting and alarming work. The next section, putting in the seed. So we have the dry earth and the promise that has been put there. Going for water. The well was dry beside the door, and so we went with pail and can across the fields behind the house to seek the brook if it still ran. Not loth to have excuse to go, because the autumn eve was fair, though chill, because the fields were ours. And by the brook our woods were there. We ran as if to meet the moon that slowly dawned behind the trees, the barren boughs without the leaves, without the birds, without the breeze. But once within the wood, we paused like gnomes that hid us from the moon, ready to run to hiding new, with laughter when she found us soon. Each laid on other a staying hand, to listen ere we dared to look, and in the hush we joined to make, we heard, we knew, we heard the brook. A note, as from a single place, a slender tinkling fall that made now drops that floated on the pool like pearls, and now a silver blade. So in this section we have the earth, the seed, the planting. Now we have the water, the promise, the fostering of an idea of a burgeoning hope. And we'll finish with mowing. There was never a sound beside the wood but one, and that was my long scythe whispering to the ground. What was it whispered? I knew not well myself. Perhaps it was something about the heat of the sun, something perhaps about the lack of sound, and that was why it whispered and did not speak. It was no dream of the gift of idle hours, or easy gold at the hand of fay or elf. Anything more than the truth would have seemed too weak to the earnest love that laid the swale in rows, not without feeble-pointed spikes of flowers, pale orchises, and scared a bright green snake. The fact is the sweetest dream of that labor knows. My long scythe whispered and left the hay to make. So in this short little section from this book, we have the seed, the earth, the quenching water from the well, and then the harvesting, the mowing, the keeping it all clean. It's a wonderful moment in the history of poetry in America. And now it's time for something really different. Really bad chess. With yours truly.
At the first stroke, it will be 10, 4, precisely.
Now that freaks me out too. That's part of the music, I guess, that speaking voice. I have this set up so no speaking voices or singing are supposed to be in this live stream. But what are you gonna do? That's what happens when you're doing a live stream, trying to get things figured out. So here we go with our new puzzle from chess.com, puzzle of the day. And as you know, I don't do really well with this, but there's no time limit, which makes me feel a little bit better. Let's see what the hint is. Candidate moves. Oh, that sounds really complicated. If you win a candidates contest in chess, that means you have the right to go play for the World Championship, which to me means this puzzle is going to be very hard. But we will endure. We are black, and we are to move, and we will move. Let's send ourselves a little quote, a little inspiration here. Writing a podcast is serving the majesty of history. Thank you so much. I believe I wrote that. Now here we go with our puzzle. Now, as I said yesterday, when I'm here by myself and I'm playing these puzzles, I do much better. I think I'm under stress and I'm under concern when I'm with you that I'm going to mess it up. And it does happen. I admit it. But that's okay. This is what we do. We play puzzles. And we try to get a little bit better every day. And as I become more comfortable with the stream and how things are going, I do find myself calming down a little bit because I'm not used, when I'm by myself, I don't highlight things or like this or like that or make this go there and make that go here. I just solve the puzzle. But here, when we're together, I feel a greater responsibility to try to be more communicative and elaborate. So black is to play, and we have to go after this king. Just looking, I see this to this, and this to that, which would put the king in check, which I find very interesting, and I sort of like the idea. However, what's in the way? Well, could move a bishop here, but that wouldn't do much. I would just take. Could put the queen there. Exchange, which these puzzles like you to sacrifice your queen. I can do that. Or the king could just move, but probably not. So I'm going to try that as my first move. See what happens. Holding thumbs. No, that was the wrong move. Oh boy, it's just so. You think you're so great, and you end up not. So now what do we do? They always like you to put your king in jeopardy. And what I'm jeopardizing with you today is my sanity. And that is probably by look and design. It's interesting how when I play this and I make the wrong move, it doesn't clear my screen. I don't know why, but that's okay. So let me get a hint. This is so painful already. The hint is the knight. So, I guess they want my knight to take that bishop. Then that queen would just take that. Don't really understand it. I could go here with the knight. Then that knight would take this knight. Well, I'm going to try this. Just see if I can clear my screen. Okay, that was the move. I don't really understand why. So the queen is in the middle, and I have my queen. And I would love to put my queen in check again. But then this queen would just take my queen that is putting that king in check. So that probably is not the move. Because then I have no way to take the queen back. Now I could move this knight here. That would then check the queen. But I don't know if that does anything either. They really like you to be proactive and not defensive in these daily puzzles. Yeah. Well, I'm going to make that move and just see what happens. No. Get another hint. The rook! Okay, so they want the rook to threaten the queen instead of the knight to threaten the queen. I don't understand why, but that has to be it. So then they castle. Okay, so that I don't really understand that at all, because now I can take the queen. I find that totally bizarre. Why wouldn't the queen just move out of the way? But it's a queen, so I guess we'll take the queen. I don't get it. Now we'll try yesterday's puzzle. Broken spring. I'm not sure what that means. Black to move. Okay, so we're black to play. This is yesterday's puzzle that we missed because we were so overwhelmed and having so much fun. So black to play, I think black has to take the knight. I can't see anything else. Why wouldn't you? Well, you don't. I think that's just bizarre. Don't understand. I'll just get a hint. Okay, so bishop takes bishop. Knight takes bishop. I would prefer to have the knight off the table than the bishop, honestly, because the knights they fork. The knights do pinwheels. They spin around. If I had I would have taken I want the knight off the board. So now I guess I just move the. It's just a pawn move from now on. I don't know. was just dumb. I'm sorry. I didn't like that puzzle. So now, my friend, we are going to have a wonderful moment as I share with you the story I have to fix the video. I'm going to show you a new interesting... I'll let this play. Well, maybe not. I'm going to show you a new video of a movie that I made when I was in school at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. It was my final project, not a senior project, but my final project that I was going to do before leaving for Washington, D.C. and ultimately New York City. It's a movie called Watershed. And several intentions I had were to make a 10-minute movie, because we were paying for it, I was paying for it, 16 millimeter film, no active live wild sound, voiceover, and original music. And we met all of those goals, starring Scott Young, who was a radio broadcast DJ guy, host, and his lovely children. Greg Kubicek was the cinematographer. Devin Schumacher, assistant director. I wrote, produced, directed the movie with music by Tom Belsdorf. So I will share this with you, and people wonder, why do you always show your movies, your old movies from 30 years ago? The reason is very simple. It is a question of rights, DMCA rights. I have the right to show my own work, but I do not have the right to show other projects I've worked on that I don't have the rights to stream or rebroadcast. So that's why when you visit my websites, my streaming sites, why is it all you from a long time ago? Well, because that's when I owned all the work from the very beginning. Now I'm a hired hand. Now I'm a ghostwriter. Now I write books and TV shows and movies for other people. So I get the credit, I get the experience, I get paid, but I don't have the right to rebroadcast. So that's why we go back in time. And that's okay. So let me turn down the music just a bit as I get this ready, because this should have its own music. Interesting film, Watershed. And I have to bring it up and redo the video. As I browse. We'll have a little discussion.
One of my hardest jobs as a minister is explaining to parents why God chose to take their child. For 10 years, I'd counseled people who had lost a loved one. A decade of Band-Aid lies to bleeding people who just had their hearts ripped out through their mouths. But when it's my daughter's name in the church bulletin, I'm forced to realize that no explanation in the world will bring her back. Life was innocent when I went to school here. I had to get back to the days when baseball cards and cotton candy were the important things in my life. I half expected Mrs. Myers, my old school principal, to meet me on the front steps. Third floor, room 306, my home room. Mrs. Myers' office right off the side. It was because of her that I became a minister. She taught me that people were inherently good, and she joked that I had the patience of a saint. I could taste cotton candy. A mirror from the past. Myself as a boy. In the rainbow from a sprinkler. Myself as a boy. I hardly recognized myself, yellowed by album photographs. A boy whose hair was cut around the inverted lip of a colander. He didn't know how to hold his belly in when girls walked by, and he was unconcerned about being on the lawn in his underwear. The first battle had started in the quest for revelation of his Achilles heel. He did not allow himself to weep to God for his own transgression. The boy limped to the back porch, angry now at the mess he'd have to clean up later. And for the first time, quietly, under his breath, but just a scant loud enough to be official, he cursed God. It was a stranger no more.
And that was Watershed, original movie from, I believe, 1987. Long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away. Good memories, wonderful people, big talents. Lincoln, Nebraska, hotbed of independent movie making. And that film won several awards. We got some very nice community grants. And I carried that movie around with me in a little box, reel of film. And then we had a couple of floods in Jersey City. And I said, this is the only copy of the movie that I have, and it's not even a real copy, it's an answer print. And an answer print means when you edit your movie, you send it to the place in New York. We were in Nebraska, but we sent it to New York to be processed. And they send that copy back for us to check and answer print. And then we make comments on color and speed and audio and sound. And then they do a final version of the movie, which is the final print. I don't have a final print of the movie. I only have the answer print. It was very expensive. We couldn't afford to get a lot of prints of the movie. I think we spent $1,000 all told for the entire movie, which is pretty good for a 10-minute movie in 1986, 87. And after we had these terrible floods, I thought I needed to find a way to get this digitized. And so I went online and found a place in New York called Digify. And they accepted my movie and transferred it to an MP4 and emailed it to me. It's just amazing where you have to go from a projector, mechanisms, mechanics. This was edited on a traditional film reel editor back in 86, 87. And today you can edit it 1,000 different ways in 10 seconds using software. You don't have to cut and glue or tape the film or mark it on with a grease pencil when you want it to fade in, fade out, so the people in New York know, okay, we want this to fade in, fade out. It's all instantaneous, all magical. Reminds me of the bot fight we had when we first started this stream a couple of hours ago. And instead of waiting for the answer print to arrive, UPS Red in our red-hot hands in Lincoln, Nebraska. You send me an email. Here's your finished movie. Go download it. Oh, if it was so easy. I remember the transition from writing scripts using a typewriter to then using a computer. And that change happened for me probably 1983, 84, 85. And there are people today who collect typewriters and they say, oh, only the typewritten word is real and useful. And I look at them and I wonder, where have you been? Why do you think that typing on a typewriter is better than typing on a computer? If you're a professional writer and your life depends on deadlines and getting a lot of work done in a short amount of time, you want everything fast. You want electronic. I remember when I used to type a page of dialogue on a page. You typed it up, you used whiteout. Sometimes if you had a good typewriter, you could just go back and it would erase it for you by hitting the backspace key. Today, you don't have to do any of that. You just start a new page. Highlight, cut, paste, delete. It's so simple. I get 100 times more work done now electronically than I ever did with a typewriter and paper. And when the University of Nebraska, Lincoln, was producing my original play, A Stone's Throw, we made a lot of changes in rehearsal. And we would cross it out. I would tell them what the change was, and they would pencil it in. And the night before the show was to premiere, the student stage manager came to me and said, I need a new script. And I said, well, okay, I don't handle the scripts, but I'm sure you can get one. He said, no. I need you to retype the script. So I have a clean copy of the script. No whiteout, no things that are penciled in the margins. I need to have one script that everyone has that we can follow for the course of the show. And I looked at him and I said, I don't have time to do that. Because it would have taken a day and a half, and we were 12 hours away, really, from the opening of the show. And he was very upset. I said, well, you could retype the parts that you don't want. He said, I don't know how to type. Okay. Well, I do know how to type, but I'm telling you, I know it's not going to happen. But today, if you needed that to happen, retype the entire script, fix all the mistakes, well, they would be fixed as you go along. But it's also very easy just to open up a word processor on your computer, find and replace. It's fantastic. People have nostalgia for the way things used to be. The old cars, the old money, the old way of getting around. Not me. Not me, pal. I'm all about the new. I don't like the bot fights in chat. I don't like pretzel rocks going against Streamlabs. But I do respect the power of a modern word processor on a computer versus an old manual typewriter. There is no romance in hitting a key. And when I was in junior high school, I believe they call it middle school now. But for me, it was 7, 8, and 9. Grade 7, 8, and 9. You took typing class. Great big white Olympia typewriters. Boom, 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 boom. And it was a necessary skill for anything you wanted to do. If you wanted to go into the Army, if you wanted to work in a craft store, if you wanted to work at the Goodyear plant, Brunswick plant, if you're going out of the university somewhere, you had to know, to be functional, how to type on a mechanical keyboard. And then hit the return key and type, hit the return. And it wore you out. Typing class, K, 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 L, 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 M, 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 P, P, P. But it built up your arms. It built up your wrists. It made you very strong. And sometimes, when guys took the class, and there were people who took the class who were guys. Because traditionally that was kind of seen as secretarial work. Oh, only secretaries need to know how to type on a typewriter. Things had been changing by the time we got there in the 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. Guys were required to type. And so you'd see who could, type K faster, who could be more accurate. It was really sort of ridiculous because it was a mini competition in a class where you're just trying to figure out how to type your name. And now you have things where you don't even have to type anything. You can sit in front of a computer and just speak into it. And the writing gets done. Now, I've never really tried that with a script or with a story, But the more I think about it, the more I think it would be really interesting to not have to concentrate on the typing part and just speak what you wanted to say. I should try that in one of these upcoming Human Being podcast scripts that we work on together, and just see if I can write a script just by speaking it and not by typing it. I believe it should be possible, but I don't know. I've never tried it. I find it encouraging how these advances in technology keep taking us away from what we believe is a beloved memory of the past. All things were not better the way they were. Some things are better today the way they are. And now, just for one final kiss into the wind, we're going to play a little bit of Chessable. Now, this is where I get timed. And I'm not tremendously good at this, but I will try. I believe these are back rank checks. And I have 4 moves. And I'm playing black. I'm going for it. Here we go. Okay, I'm black. There's the king. There's my queen. Gotta figure it out. Oh, this looks very difficult. I'm black. So here's my queen. Ooh. I don't know if she wants to go here or go here. That's probably what it is. They want my queen to go there. Would be supported by the knight, but yeah. But then this knight will take. Okay, that was the right move. Now, I would have preferred to move my knight there, and then the knight takes with the knight, but that's not going to happen. So now, I believe, most people would want the knight to take the knight, but this is a puzzle, so I think they want me to go here, put a check on the king, and then the knight will go back. But I'm not sure if that's the right move either. Now I see what the move is. The move is this to there. Okay. I'll make the move. Not the right move. My initial idea was correct. Put the king in check. And now, that goes there, that goes there. Puzzle's done. Well, that was painful. I knew what to do and I didn't do it. Happens every time. Oh my. Some things just can't be won, because there's misery to be had by all. Now we're going to be white. And we're going to solve this one at 100%. So white is now trying to back rank check the king. How do we get there? And how do we go home? Well, first thing I see is this rook. Puts king in check. That away. And the king tries to move, and then we're going to move. Try it. It's risky. That was the right move. Okay, so, boom, boom. Check to check. Now. Tricky. Because this rook cannot take this rook, because then this bishop will take that. And here's the queen. Sitting here, delightful. And And she can't really move here to put the king in check or here to put the king in check because protected and protected. They love a queen sacrifice. Not the right move. Oh, that was the right move. Okay, so we move the queen. Check, check. Takes, takes. Rook takes the rook. And the puzzle is over. Not as hard as it could have been. But still painful. Still just a little bit painful. We have one more. 3. Going for 3. 1, 2, 3. And we are white. And it's got to be easier than what we've been doing so far. Well, they always like it when you put a king in check, so I'll try that. Check. No. I keep forgetting they love the queen sacrifice. Yeah, here we go. Oh boy. You just gotta learn to give up your queen in these puzzles. Always offer your queen. So, my friend, we've had a wonderful time together today. We discussed golfer's elbow and tennis elbow. We played some really bad chess twice on chess.com and Chessable. We discussed Robert Frost and his beautiful poetry. We watched a movie about the urban core in Jersey City, and as well as an original production by yours truly. But the most interesting thing we've done today is we have started our fast. And our Zero app has told us during this time we've been sharing together, we have moved. I don't know if you can ever read this. The thing in the middle is fire. We are now in the fat burning stage of our fast, which I find absolutely delightful, because that's the whole idea of doing the whole thing, is to get rid of the fat that you've put on because you're bulking to get more muscle going. So tomorrow we will continue our fast. We will continue our time together. And as we look backward into the way that things used to be, and as we then propel ourselves forward into the promise of tomorrow, we must always try to stay in the moment. The moment of now, where we are both satisfied with what we remember, and we are encouraged by the wonderful ideas to come our way. I love mechanical things, but I also enjoy virtual things. And 10 years ago, we would not be doing a live stream like this with you right now today. It would not have been technically feasible or even possible. Perhaps even unimaginable. That you could just get a couple of lights, a camera, a microphone, some software that streams you live, in person, to say hello to people, to bid them good day, and to have them chat with you. It's amazing technology. And I thank you so much for spending your day with us. And we look forward to seeing you soon tomorrow, if not sooner. If you have a question or comment, please find us online at facebook.com/Boles, Boles. You can always find this live stream on Twitch and YouTube and leave us messages there. Or if you are further inclined, please visit Twitter. Find me, username at David Boles, DAVIDBOLES. Send me a direct message, a public message. Give me some insight on what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and maybe what you'd like to see from this lovely live stream. So for now, take care, be well. I will see you soon. Jana Marie, who is still feeling a little under the weather, is always alive in our hearts and minds, in a tumbler of delicious water. Take care, be well. I'll see you tomorrow.